Hello guys, welcome to this guide on how to climb with Xayah. Let's start out with looking at why you'd want to play Xayah right now. Xayah is the strongest 4-cost AD carry in the game right now, and she's very consistent to climb with. The comp is very flexible, allowing you to flex between more than 30 units, making it easy for you to utilize a lot of openers and always playing your strongest board no matter what you hit. First carousel, you want to go for Sword that builds into Deathblade. You can also go for Bow that builds into Rageblade, or you can go for Chain or Belt that builds into Sunfire. Sunfire is amazing this set, since the fights go on for a lot longer than before and there is so much healing as well. The core items you want to build on Xayah are Rageblade and Deathblade. The third item can be Giant Slayer, which is really good now into Dragons and Reroll, Last Whisper, Runans or Infinity Edge. These last items are B tier, but they're definitely still playable. On this list we have Hand of Justice, Static Shift, Quicksilver, Bloodthirster and Edge of Night. In this guide I'm going to teach you two different openers that you can play into Xayah. In this first opener, we flex between Dragonmancer and Jade. Early game, you want to play around these core units. You want to put the Dragonmancer Blessing on Set, so he gets more HP and you get a little bit more frontline. At level 6 we can play Leona for Guardian, and then we can swap out Set for Lee Sin, keeping the Dragonmancer while also adding Tempest. Now you want to put the Dragonmancer Blessing on Lee Sin instead. You want to put your damage items on Ezreal and your tank items on Lee Sin. However, since Deathblade scales with star level, you might want to put it on Ashe if you hit Ashe 2 before you hit Ezreal 2. Remember to clump your units around the Jade statue so you get the max value from the Jade buff. This opener is very solid and it's fairly easy to hit. The overall cost is pretty low except for Lee Sin being a 3 cost, and you get a pretty massive amount of synergies for only playing 6 units on your board. In the second opener, we play around Guild and Swiftshot, while utilizing a Bruiser hybrid frontline. At level 6 we can play Nuno to get Cavalier online, and we can then swap out Tahm Kench for a stronger Bruiser, Silas for example. Preferably you want your damage item on Twitch, but again if you hit Ashe 2 before, you want to put items on her. Put your tanky items on Shen. For both of these openers, we don't play Ragewing early. We don't need the trait active until we have Xayah on our board, but you still want to hold the units on your bench so you can swap them in once you hit Xayah. Now let's look at how we can transition these boards into the late game. Let's start with the Dragonmancer Jade opener. On stage 4-1, you want to level to 7 and start rolling for Xayah. Once we hit her, we want to sell whatever unit we're carrying and put the items on her. We also have another spot on our team, so here we can play Swain. We can then swap out Leona for Shen, and now we have Ragewing online. The 4 Dragonmancer is a little awkward, so we can swap out Karma for a better unit. Gnar is perfect here. We keep the Jade, and we get Shapeshifter online as well. Now for the late game, you want to transition into 6 Ragewing as soon as you hit it. To do this, we swap out Taric, Lee Sin and Gnar. And then we play Set, Hecarim and Senna. By now, you will also have leveled to 8. And you want to play some more frontline? Neeko is great on this board, giving you Shapeshifter. You want to put your tanky items on her. Bear in mind that you need to be level 8 to play this board, you need the extra frontline that Neeko provides, and you need to hit both Hecarim and Xayah, which is pretty hard to do at level 7 unless you Omega High Roll. Instead of Neeko, we can also utilize Lee Sin as our frontline, together with Ezreal, giving both Dragonmancer and Tempest. Or we can play Ornn instead, giving us Bruiser instead of Dragonmancer. We can go level 9 and fit a legendary unit if we hit a Bard, or if we hit a Yasuo. This guy's really good, he gets both Warrior and Dragonmancer. Great with tanky items and some healing. This comp already has enough damage from Xayah, so we want to utilize the Yasuo as a CC and frontline unit. Neeko is still a great choice, providing a lot of frontline and a massive stun. Now finally, for the most capped version of this board, you want to hit Shyvana. Once you hit Shyvana, you want to sack your frontline, slam the dragon and put all the tanky items on her. Now we have 9 Ragewing and our Xayah is gonna absolutely machine gun the enemy team. Bear in mind that Shyvana shouldn't be frontline. You want her to have as much HP as possible for when she transforms. Put Xayah on the same side as the enemy carry, so she will attack them after dealing with the frontline, and put Hecarim on the opposite side, so he will ult into the enemy backline. If you high roll a Shyvana at 8, you could still play this board, you just don't play the Ashe. At this point, you don't really need the Swift Shot since you get so much attack speed from Ragewing anyways. And finally, we have the most capped version of this board. We add in Yasuo for both Dragonmancer and Warrior. Now, let's take a look at the other late game transition we can do, the transition into Guild Xayah. At 4-1 we go 7 and start looking for Xayah. Once we hit Xayah, we swap out our carry and put the items on her. Then we put in a Ragewing unit, a Senna will work fine here. At level 8, you want to play Talon, and if you have the items for it, you can duo carry him. He works really well with Infinity Edge, plus a healing item. As the game goes on, you want to swap out Silas for Ornn, swap out the Senna for Hecarim, and then we can swap out Nuno for Qiyana, giving us both Assassin and Tempest. At level 9, we can play Bard for a great CC and even stronger guild bonuses. And here I want to point out how many synergies we're actually getting on the board. They can barely fit on the screen. You want to put Ornn opposite side of the enemy team, so he gets a good angle and can punch the goat into the enemy carry. And you want to put Xayah on the same side as the enemy carry, so she will attack them after killing the front line. Put Talon towards the middle, but away from the enemy carry, so there's a big chance that he will jump to them at the beginning of the fight. Now before we get into leveling and Econ, I want to show you one last transition you can do for the mid game. A frontline unit that's really overtuned right now is Idas. Luckily, you can easily flex an Idas into a Xayah carry comp. If you hit Idas at level 7, you can play this board. If the Shimmer Scale item is Gambler's Blade or Draven's Axe, you should put them on Xayah. If it's one of the tanky ones, put it on Idas. If it's the AP item, you put it on Swain. You can flex out Set on Lee Sin for Hecarim and a Guardian. And if that Guardian is Taric at level 8, we can play Nico for this massive board. This is a great transitional board, but you don't want to get stuck on it for too long unless you hit Idas 2, then you can definitely play it until the late game. But you should still aim towards pivoting into the guild version of the board, or look for the 9 Ragewing angle. The key to mastering these transitions is playing around your upgraded units. Slam your items as soon as possible, and don't worry too much about best in slot. You definitely need the Rage Blade to make this comp work, but you can always guarantee getting some good items at the Treasure Dragon, so don't be afraid to slam B tier items if it means that you can save HP and survive longer into the late game. Don't greed for the level 8 if you're not strong enough for it, and only go level 9 if you have an almost fully upgraded board. Try to scout the lobby and try to make a judgment call on whether your board is strong enough or if you need to roll more. If you can apply these rules to your own games, you're gonna climb very consistently. The leveling for this comp uses the standard forecast carry leveling curve. I'll give you a brief overview here, but I'm also gonna do a more in-depth leveling and econ guide in the future, so make sure to sub so you'll hear about it as soon as it comes out. You want to pre-level to 4 on 1-4 if you're sitting on a lot of 2-cost pairs, else you level to 4 on 2-1. Next you need to decide if you want to pre-level to 5 into the carousel. You do this if you're win streaking and still sitting on a lot of 2-cost or maybe even 3-cost pairs, else you level to 5 on 2-5. Try to hit 20 gold into Krugs, that's good econ, and then on 3-2 we level to 6 and roll for a bit of upgrades. As a rule of thumb, you don't want to roll below 20 to keep some econ. Mastering good econ and a good leveling curve is essential to winning games. Learn to play this way and you will see good results really quickly. Now for the late game, on 4-1 we always level to 7 and roll for our core units. Again, try not to spend all your gold, you still want some gold left to econ so you can hit level 8. If you didn't have to roll a lot for your board and you hit a lot of upgrades on 4-1, you can level 8 on 4-5. If you had to roll a lot and you're not super rich, you can do it on 5-1. If you Omega high rolled, you can go fast 9 on 5-5. Normally we do it on 6-2 or 6-5. Again, you don't want to greed for the level 9. Try to make it a habit to hit your whole board, mostly upgraded, before you start to push levels. Now let's take a look at what augments are good when you play Xayah. Weirdly enough, Swiftshot Crest and Press the Attack didn't make it onto this list. You might look at these and think, they have to be good into Xayah, right? Nuh-uh. You actually want to run 2 Swiftshots early game, because the second Swiftshot is going to give you a lot of other useful synergies. Meanwhile, playing 3 Swiftshots on your early game board just means that you're going to have way too little frontline. Late game it might allow you to sack the second Swiftshot, but I'd rather go for something that buffs your frontline and gives a buff to your whole team instead. And meanwhile, the damage from Press the Attack just felt severely undertuned right now. This didn't feel good to play at all. These augments though are all very strong and feel super good to play into Xayah right now. Ascension is absolutely god tier right now. The fights go on for so long and you always get insane value from this one. The healing from Celestial Blessing is great, but it's especially good because of the shield. It's so easy to stack with the built-in healing from Ragewing. Cybernetic Implants gives your frontline more HP and it gives Xayah more attack damage. Ragewing Heart, Crest and Crown are all good, and they make it easier to hit the 3, 6 and 9 Ragewing. And First Aid Kit is good because it amplifies the healing from Ragewing. Bear in mind that this one also amplifies healing from Augments, so it's even better with Second Wind or Celestial Blessing. Weak Spot is great, not so much because it ignores armor, but because it reduces the healing, which there's so much of in this set. Remember, if you get this one, you don't have to slam Sunfire Cape. I really like Second Wind, it's gonna keep your frontline alive much longer and allow your Xayah to scale even further. Tantrum is strong, especially if you go for a vertical Ragewing, and Scorch is absolutely broken right now. The amount of damage this one deals is not balanced at all. Component Grabback is good, you get more items early, more tempo, and you get to play around with more components, which is always good into Treasure Dragon as well. Long fights and a lot of healing means that Sunfire is also S tier right now. And the Ornn items also feel pretty strong in this set. These Augments are super playable right now. I feel like Verdant Veil is severely underrated. Because there's so much CC in this set, this one is a lot of value. Your frontline is gonna get all their stuns off, and your Xayah is just gonna stack infinitely without getting disturbed by crowd control. Alright guys, that's the end of this guide. Thanks for watching, remember to like and sub if you found this helpful, and good luck on the climb. I'll see you in the next one.